Hi, Deb Buck here from debbuckhere.com. And today we're talking about nonverbal autistic kids and whether they will ever talk. So, what is debbuckhere.com? Well, it's where we're helping autistic kids and their grown-ups to live their best lives. And so before we start, there are some things you need to do. Hit that subscribe button down below because you want to know about what's going on. And with the notification bell, if you click on that, you'll know every time we do a new video. There are also things to check on after the video, including our links on Autism Quiz and also on our free discovery call. And the discovery call lets you call for 15 minutes without any cost and ask whatever autism question you have. And finally, we want you to leave a comment below. So we're talking about nonverbal autistic kids and what that means. Well, first of all, we know that 25 to 40% of autistics are nonverbal. That leaves us 60 to 75% of autistics who are verbal. So here are the main questions that I get. If my child is 4 years old, will he ever speak? People want to know if they had any communication skills before they were able to speak, because that's a big question and a really important one. And finally, what can a parent do to help? Well, let's get to the answers. First of all, nonverbal isn't the whole picture. Nonverbal literally means no words. Doesn't mean no words that they speak, but no words. So many children have words that they recognize, they just don't speak them. Receptive language is incredibly important. Some kids are able to write words, but they don't speak them. That's still communication. And so we know that communication is more than just words also. A large number of our words are nonverbal. You know that communication is also including body language. So if I'm talking to you like this, you've got a different idea about what I have to say than if I'm talking to you like this. My body language tells you a lot about what I'm thinking, and so does your child's body language. So I'm going to read this to you because according to the Autism Speaks on March 4th, 2013, and be aware that it doesn't mean that I support Autism Speaks or any other organization, I'm just using their information. Scientists at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders in Baltimore looked at information on 535 kids. That's a decent number of kids in the ages of 8 to 17. And they were all diagnosed with autism and with severe language delays at the age of 4. At age 4, their language delays ranged from not speaking at all to using single words or using phrases without verbs. So the research found from this study that these children do go on to acquire language skills. Nearly 47% became fluent speakers, unlike me right now. They became fluent speakers. Over 2/3, 70%, could speak in simple phrases. That is good and encouraging information. So what can you do? Well, you can start speech therapy as soon as possible. My granddaughter Gwen was basically not a speaker at age 4. She had just a few words. She is now at 15 a very fluent speaker. She started speech therapy at 18 months, I believe it was. You want to imitate your child's verbalizations or their sounds. You're not mocking them. You're simply, if they're making a sound that sounds like any kind of word, or just a then you can go back. Because if you do, then you're going to be sure to let them know that you're hearing them and that you can make that sound too. Then they may have, in time, they're going to start realizing they can imitate you. That's how it starts. Also observe nonverbal communication. Again, that body language is really important. Watch for the pointing. And if they're not pointing, you start pointing and show them what you're pointing at, because you know what? Kids with autism, when you point, don't know what you're doing. They think you're just sticking a finger out. They really know little about why you're doing that. So if you point, then you would then show them cup. So show them what you're pointing at. And use single words or simple phrases when you're trying to communicate. If they're nonverbal and you know that they have good verbal communication receptively, then don't do that. You're going to want to talk in complete sentences. But when you first start out and when you first try to find out what their receptive language is, you're going to use single words or simple phrases. And finally, I want you to follow your child's interest, because if they're interested in outer space, then you can get them to start talking if in time using things that they're interested in. So instead of saying, oh, they have a special interest, no, it's their interest. And if you're talking about Mars, they're going to want to know about Mars. And if you show them a picture of Mars and you say the word Mars, they know so much about it. They just don't have the words yet. So be sure and follow up with words when you're working with them with their interests. And also, I want you to comment below to let us know if this was helpful to you, and I want you to answer a question for me. When did your child start speaking? Or if your child is not speaking, how old is your child and they're not speaking? Also, I'd like you to take the autism quiz on our website, because it will give you a lot of insight into where you are in terms of things like meltdowns, communication, and behavior. Until next time, Deb Buck here.